Sitting within a glass room on a hospital floor for cancer. What ICU is for injuries. I sat staring into the abyss.
As common, many people, both families and single, would come and go in surreal motion.
All, regardless of expression, wore a noticeable concern.
Some of hope, some of faith, and some looked like the last chapter of a book unwritten was at hand.
Earlier, I was moving about the hospital lobby and I noticed a weathered man who was obviously a rancher.
Hat, aged and stained, distorted to the traits. Red plaid shirt, tarnished buckle, and jeans that let little of one boot show.
A deep, weathered face, complex in image, yet the softness of pale peach.
This cowboy entered into the lobby with a commanding interest and an air of politeness.
He seemed to slow, almost stop, as he passed a young mother and her small child.
I thought for a moment that they had met before, but no real interaction occurred.
The cowboy had a noticeable open heart for all children.
As I returned to the floor within the glass room, I noticed this cowboy slowly pacing about.
He constantly looked towards another glass room, back to the long hall that collects them all.
I saw an expression on that face that shifted from stern to collective, from collective to confused.
Down the hall around the corner came a family who was obviously close-knit.
Professionally dressed, far from the ranching persona, his children and their spouses traveled the hall as if a unit.
When they meet, long-drawn hugs and pats followed. The greeting was quick, and then each alone entered into the glass room.
While holding their sleeping mother's hand, they each prayed. Some cried, another fell to the knees. All the spouses gave comfort.
As they exited down the hall to the elevator, a young girl with a biracial child passed, while received with a blatant stare.
The cowboy, now all alone, entered this room. I noticed he had never taken off his hat before he entered this room.
He stood next to the bed while passionately caressing his wife's sleeping hand.
When leaving the room, he tenderly placed the sleeping hand to a comfortable position.
Tucked the covers with such tenderness, it made the room soft and warm.
He turned the light off, placed the hat on his head, paused for a moment, but he never looked back.
I watched as this cowboy walked the lone walk down the hall. The heels of his boots never cleared the ground, nor did his head ever rise.
Now noticing the young woman and kid walking towards him coming from the lobby.
When they came together, I could feel the tension and separation from the encounter.
The young woman was seemingly asking permission to enter the glass room from which the cowboy had turned from.
I could see he was reluctant in choice, but soon the cowboy gave way.
This young woman entered the room with daughter in tow without touching the light. This visit was by far longer and more emotional than the rest.
The mother's daughter hugged her legs so tight, and I watched the cowboy never turn to see the visit.
The young lady, before departing, held the sleeping hand and placed an item in it before affectionately replacing it. The sleeping hand seemed to glow, a moonlight glimmer.
I noticed the cowboy was now watching this action.
When the young lady and kids passed the cowboy, there was little exchange.
As the woman and child walked down the hall, the cowboy drifted sight from the room to the hall. He seemed to grow in height and stature.
I don't know what was said, but the young mother and child whirled to face the cowboy.
They all paused. Then the cowboy dropped to one knee, opened both his arms to receive the charging family.
They hugged for such a long time, then exited hand in hand.
I'm not sure, but this living image was one of a long, mended fence. Forgiveness and reconciliation seemed to scream at me.
When the staff entered to clear the room of its occupant, one of the nurses lifted the sleeping hand.
A piece of paper fell to the floor. All those in the room paused into still silence.
Shortly, one picked up the paper, and after a short glance,
they joined hands and prayed.
Later, I discovered that the note had a cross drawn on it with the words, "See you in heaven, Grandma."
I brought from the story that sometimes the passing of one is bringing others together.
We can't know what God has in store, nor can we reason it. But God showed His grace in grand fashion that Sunday.
Said you needed a break and left with no heads up. I was strong for your sake, but it made my heart drop. 'Cause it's always been you and I. Give me one more try. This is messing with my mind. Not gonna lie, but I'll give you the space so you can figure this out. I've been losing sleep and it won't get better. I can't get my mind off of you. Days go by and I can't help but wonder if you think about me too. Don't you just hate it, being away from someone you just wanna hold on to? It's driving me crazy, tired of waiting. I really hate being away from you. We're like everyone else, we have our ups and downs. It is not just one mistake that made you think about what life can be like without me in it. I still thought it'd be you and I until we die. But I'll give you the space so you can figure this out. I've been losing sleep and it won't get better. I can't get my mind off of you. Days go by and I can't help but wonder if you think about me too. Don't you just hate it, being away from someone you just wanna hold on to? It's driving me crazy,